You wake up in a warm bed. You scroll through your phone. You drink your favorite coffee. You have food, Wi-Fi, maybe even love. And still, something feels missing. If everything outside is fine, why does it still feel so heavy inside? The truth is, we've been taught how to make money, how to be efficient, how to chase success. But no one taught us how to be truly happy. Today, we journey back to ancient wisdom, to teachings that have survived over 2,500 years, not religion, but deep, timeless insight, from one man who walked away from wealth, sat under a tree, and discovered a path to real peace. In this video, you'll learn 7 powerful secrets from Buddhist philosophy, truths that can shift your mind, heal your heart, and bring a quiet kind of happiness, the kind that stays even when life gets loud. If you've been searching for something more, not outside, but within, stay with me. You may not just watch this video, you may feel it. What if happiness was not something you had to chase, but something that was already here, right now? If only you knew how to notice it. This is the first secret of Buddhist wisdom: mindfulness. The Buddha called it sati, the ability to be fully present. Not caught in the past, not lost in the future, but deeply awake to this moment. And this moment is all we ever truly have. Think about it. How many moments have we missed because we were distracted, worried, scrolling endlessly, replaying old pain, or racing toward the next thing? We eat, but we don't taste. We walk, but we don't feel the ground. We breathe, but we're not really alive. Mindfulness brings us back to what's real, back to what's now, back to ourselves. The Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." When you are mindful, even washing the dishes can be sacred. Even listening to the wind can be a miracle. Even one breath can change everything. But mindfulness is not just about feeling calm. It's about seeing clearly. It's about waking up. It's about knowing what you're doing while you're doing it, so that you no longer live your life on autopilot. When you're mindful, you catch the angry thought before it becomes a word. You feel the sadness in your chest before it becomes despair. You see your habits clearly, and you realize you can choose differently. There's a famous story in the Buddhist tradition. A monk once asked the Buddha, "What is the path to enlightenment?" The Buddha replied, "When walking, just walk. When eating, just eat. When sitting, just sit." Simple, but not easy. Mindfulness is not something we try to do. It's something we remember to return to over and over again, with patience, with kindness, with love. And you don't need a mountain cave. You don't need a guru. You don't even need perfect silence. You just need this breath, this step, this sip of tea, this moment. Here's how to begin. When you wake up tomorrow, before checking your phone, place one hand on your chest. Feel your breath. Notice the warmth of your skin. Say quietly, "I am here. I am alive. I am enough." Try doing one thing today, just one, with complete presence. Drink your tea slowly. Walk without your phone. Eat with full attention. Notice what happens. Notice what shifts inside. This is not a trick. This is not a trend. This is a return to yourself. And the more you practice mindfulness, the more life stops rushing by. You begin to see beauty in small things. You begin to feel calm in chaos. And you begin to understand. Happiness was never somewhere else. It was always in this moment. Imagine holding a rope tightly wrapped around your hand. Now, imagine someone pulling the other end. The harder they pull, the tighter it hurts. The more you grip, the more you suffer. But what if you simply let go? This is the second secret of Buddhist wisdom. Detachment is freedom. Letting go, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. In the West, we're taught to hold on, to chase more, to protect what's mine. Our career, our reputation, our possessions, our relationships. We think if we just hold on tighter, we'll feel more secure. But clinging is not safety. It's suffering in disguise. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering, because everything in life is impermanent. The job changes, the lover leaves, the body ages, the money disappears, the seasons turn, and the moment you try to freeze something that was never meant to last, you invite pain into your heart. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you can love fully without trying to own someone. You can enjoy a moment without fearing its end. You can succeed without tying your worth to the outcome. True freedom isn't found in holding on. It's found in loosening the grip. There's a story of a man who wanted to cross a river, so he built a raft. It helped him reach the other side. But when he got there, he picked up the raft and carried it on his back. Everywhere he went, heavy, unnecessary, exhausting. We all do this. We carry old beliefs, old stories, old pain, even when they've already served their purpose. The Buddha said, "Let go of what no longer serves you, even if it once helped you survive. It may now be the very thing that's weighing you down." Ask yourself, what are you clinging to? A title, a version of who you used to be, a grudge, a dream that no longer fits your path. The moment you stop trying to control everything, you begin to experience peace. A peace that isn't dependent on people or situations, but comes from knowing you are okay, even when life changes. Because life will change, no matter how tightly you hold on. Detachment invites us to meet change with grace, to meet loss with softness, to meet ourselves with trust. And here's something beautiful. When you let go, you don't lose yourself. You find yourself. You find the part of you that's untouched by circumstances. You find the part of you that doesn't need more to feel whole. You find the quiet, steady center within you that is always free. To practice detachment, try this. Notice the next time you feel anxious about something slipping away. Instead of holding on tighter, take a deep breath and whisper to yourself, "It's okay to let this pass. I trust what comes next." Repeat it when you need to, and slowly, moment by moment, you'll begin to unhook your peace from things you cannot control. That's not giving up, that's waking up, because real happiness doesn't come from having everything. It comes from needing less and letting life flow through you instead of trying to hold it still. Nobody wants to suffer. We spend most of our lives trying to avoid pain. We distract ourselves, numb ourselves, blame others, run faster, buy more. But the pain doesn't leave. It waits. And yet, the Buddha taught something radically different. He didn't promise a life without suffering. He promised freedom through it. This is the third secret of Buddhist wisdom. Embrace suffering to transcend it. It sounds strange. Why embrace something that hurts? But here is the truth. Most of us were never taught. Pain is not your enemy. Avoiding it is. Because what you resist grows stronger. What you suppress leaks out. And what you refuse to feel ends up controlling you. The Buddha said, "Suffering is not holding you. You are holding suffering." That changes everything. When you stop running from your suffering and turn toward it with awareness, with compassion, with courage, it begins to soften. It begins to reveal something deeper underneath, like a knot that unravels, like a wound that begins to breathe. You start to see that the sadness you carried was a part of you that needed love, that the anger was grief with no voice, that the anxiety was your inner child begging for safety. To embrace suffering is not to invite more pain. It is to stop pretending that you are not already carrying it. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, he didn't avoid suffering. He sat with it, all of it. His fear, his doubt, his discomfort, until he understood it fully, until it no longer had power over him. And that's how enlightenment began. We don't become wise by escaping pain. We become wise by walking through it, gently, patiently, bravely. So what does this mean for your daily life? It means when sadness arises, you breathe with it. You say, "I see you, I'm here." You don't push it down, you don't run away. You sit beside it, like you would with a hurting friend. It means when life feels hard, you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this here to teach me?" It means you stop labeling emotions as bad and start seeing them as messengers, all trying to bring you home to yourself. Every scar, every heartbreak, every lonely night was not just pain. It was part of your path, part of your awakening. There's a Japanese art called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they are honored, because that's what made the piece unique. You are the same. Your wounds don't make you weak, they make you real. They make you human. They make you beautiful. And when you embrace your suffering with open arms, it loses its sharpness. It becomes your teacher, not your jailer. Let yourself cry. Let yourself feel. Let yourself be raw, unpolished, undone. And in that sacred space, healing begins. Because the only way out of suffering is not around it, but through it. And on the other side is something more than happiness. It's peace, it's clarity, it's wisdom. It's the unshakable knowing that I have walked through fire, and I am still here, and I am free. Have you ever noticed how quick the mind is to judge? We walk into a room, we instantly label too loud, too quiet, too messy, too formal, too much, not enough. We see a stranger, and without even a word, we decide what they are worth, based on how they dress, how they speak, where they come from. And we do the same to ourselves. Too fat, too thin, too late in life, too broken, too behind. Judgment is fast, automatic, sharp. But the Buddha taught a different way. He taught compassion over judgment. This is the fourth secret of Buddhist wisdom. Because judgment divides, but compassion unites. Judgment hardens the heart. Compassion opens it. Judgment says, "I know better." Compassion says, "I want to understand." You see, we never really know what someone else is going through. The cashier who seems rude may be grieving a loved one. The co-worker who always interrupts may be silently battling anxiety. Even the person who hurt you may be acting from their own pain. The Buddha said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law." It's easy to judge. It's harder, but braver, to love. True compassion doesn't mean you agree with everyone, or that you let people walk over you. It means you choose to see their humanity, even when it's buried beneath fear, anger, or confusion. And this includes yourself. Because often, the person you judge most harshly is you. You replay every mistake. You criticize your body. You doubt your worth. You carry shame like a second skin. But the Buddha reminded us, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and compassion. Judgment says, "I should be better by now." Compassion says, "I'm doing the best I can." Judgment pushes you down. Compassion lifts you up. So how do we practice this in real life? Start by noticing your inner critic. Give it a name if you want. Gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I choose kindness today." When you catch yourself judging others, pause, take a breath, and ask, what pain might they be carrying that I cannot see? You don't have to know their story. You just have to remember they have one. And when someone triggers you, instead of reacting, try softening, try listening, try wondering, what would compassion do right now? Compassion doesn't mean you become passive. It means you respond instead of react. It means you set boundaries with love, not with anger. Over time, compassion becomes your default lens. You begin to see people not as enemies, but as fellow travelers, also struggling, also trying, also learning how to be human. And when you live this way, something beautiful happens. The world begins to feel less cold, less divided, less lonely, because compassion is connection. And in a world that often feels disconnected, that is radical. So be kind, not because people always deserve it, but because kindness is who you choose to be. Because the more compassion you give, the more peace you create, inside yourself and in the world. And that is the beginning of true happiness. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a beautiful garden, surrounded by peace. Bird song, soft wind, gentle sunlight. But you're so busy chasing butterflies, you don't notice the flowers already blooming at your feet. This is how many of us live, chasing what we don't have, ignoring what we do. The fifth secret of Buddhist wisdom is simple, but powerful. Live simply, want less. In a world that constantly screams, more is better, bigger is success, simpler feels like rebellion. But the Buddha showed us another way. He taught that craving is the root of suffering, and simplicity is the path to freedom. Not just physical simplicity, but mental, emotional, and spiritual. You don't need a minimalist house or empty closet to practice simplicity. You need an uncluttered heart. You need space in your soul for what truly matters. We live in a time where we have more than ever, but we feel more overwhelmed, more distracted, more disconnected. Why? Because we've confused abundance with fulfillment. We've mistaken convenience for peace and consumption for joy. But real joy doesn't come from adding more, it comes from needing less. You don't need 10 friends who barely know your soul. You need one who sees you clearly. You don't need 5 vacations to feel alive. You need to feel wonder when you step outside your door. You don't need the next phone or the next promotion or the next follower to be enough. You already are. The Buddha lived simply, not because he lacked, but because he saw clearly. He let go of excess to hold space for what mattered. presence, compassion, wisdom, peace. Simplicity isn't about poverty, it's about priority. What are you filling your days with? What's taking up your energy, your time, your attention? We think the answer is do more, but often the answer is want less. When you live simply, you begin to see beauty again. You taste your food, you hear the silence, you feel your own breath, you remember you're alive. Here's a practice. This week, look around your life and gently ask, what am I carrying that I don't truly need? It could be a possession, a habit, a grudge, a constant need to prove yourself. And then, try letting just one thing go. See how it feels. Not empty, but free. Simplicity gives you room. Room for joy. Room for peace. Room for being. As the Buddha said, contentment is the greatest wealth. Because when you want less, you worry less. When you need less, you fear less. And when you let go of more, you come home to yourself, to a life that is lighter, gentler, and far more meaningful. So live simply, not because you have to, but because your soul is tired of noise, and it's longing for quiet, for space, for stillness. And in that stillness, you'll find you already have everything you need. Let's begin with a question. When was the last time you truly sat in silence? No music, no phone, no words, just silence. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. In today's world, silence is rare and even feared. We fill every moment with noise, scrolling, talking, reacting, filling the empty space as if it's something to escape. But silence is not emptiness. It is space. And space is sacred. The Buddha once said, silence is better than meaningless words. This is the sixth secret of Buddhist wisdom. Silence is a form of wisdom. Because in silence, you hear what the world cannot say. You notice what your heart has been whispering. You remember what truly matters. Noise can be distraction, but silence is clarity. In silence, we begin to see through the illusions we build, the masks we wear, the stories we repeat. In silence, we meet ourselves, raw, unfiltered, true. We live in a time where everyone has something to say. Opinions fly, voices rise. And yet, the wisest voices are often the quietest. Why? Because true wisdom doesn't need to shout. It listens. It observes. It waits. It speaks only when it helps. The Buddha often taught in silence, sometimes saying nothing at all, and still his presence spoke volumes. Because silence is not the absence of something, it is the presence of awareness. Let's be clear, silence is not about suppression. It's not pretending to be calm while you're screaming inside. It's not biting your tongue out of fear. That's not wisdom. That's avoidance. True silence is alive. It's full. It's peaceful. It's where the mind settles, where insight is born, where compassion arises. Have you noticed that some of your most powerful realizations came not during chaos, but in quiet moments? Maybe during a walk, a deep breath, a sleepless night, or while watching the sunrise? That's silence speaking, softly, clearly, without force. And when we cultivate silence, we begin to respond to life instead of reacting to it. We create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, we choose wisely. We act with purpose. We speak with kindness. We pause before judgment. We breathe before anger. Silence allows us to witness our thoughts instead of becoming them. And the more we do this, the less power they have over us. So how do you practice silence? You don't have to run away to a monastery. You can begin now, in your daily life. Try this. Set aside 5 minutes each day, just to sit. No phone, no to-do list, just your breath and awareness. At first, the mind will resist. It will shout. It will beg for stimulation. But stay. Wait. And soon, you'll begin to hear the quiet voice beneath the noise. That voice is your wisdom, your stillness, your truth. And the more you listen, the more peaceful life becomes. Not because problems disappear, but because you face them with presence and not panic. So in a world addicted to noise, choose silence. Not to escape life, but to hear it more clearly. Because in the end, it's not the loudest voices that shape your soul. It's the still ones, the quiet ones, the wise ones within. Let silence be your sanctuary. Let it be your teacher. Let it be your power. Let's begin with a simple sentence. You are not your thoughts. It sounds strange at first, doesn't it? Because we've spent most of our lives believing that we are whatever our mind tells us. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I'm broken. I can't change. We repeat these thoughts until they become our identity. And yet, they are not who we are. This is the final and perhaps most liberating secret of Buddhist wisdom. You are not your thoughts. Let that sink in. The Buddha taught that the mind is like a monkey, restless, jumping, grasping, afraid. It swings from one idea to another, one fear the next, one memory, one future worry. And unless we are mindful, we begin to believe the monkey is us. But here's the truth. Thoughts are just clouds passing through the sky. You are the sky. Thoughts come and go, like waves on the ocean. But you are not the waves. You are the ocean beneath. Thoughts are not facts. They are not truth. They are habits, stories, conditioning, echoes of the past. You didn't choose most of your thoughts. They were shaped by your childhood, your environment, your fears, your culture. So, why believe all of them? The Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." But he also taught us to watch the mind, not become lost in it. This is the power of mindfulness, of meditation, of awareness. To sit quietly and notice, this is a thought, not this is me. When you notice your thoughts, you create space. You begin to observe instead of identify. And in that space, you find freedom. Freedom from the inner critic, from anxiety, from overthinking, from judgment. You begin to see that beneath all those thoughts is something far more real, far more spacious, far more peaceful. Your true self. Still, aware, compassionate, unafraid. Let's do a short reflection. Close your eyes for a moment and listen. What thoughts are arising right now? Now ask, are they helpful? Are they kind? Are they even true? Now take a deep breath and imagine them floating away like leaves on a river. You don't need to hold them. You can just let them pass. You see, the goal of practice is not to stop thinking. The mind will always produce thoughts. That's what it does. The practice is learning not to believe every thought, especially the painful ones. The ones that say, "You're not enough. You'll always be this way. You can't be happy." You are not those thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are the presence that notices them, that changes everything. So, next time your mind tells you a story, pause, breathe, and gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I don't need this story right now." You don't have to fight your thoughts. You just have to stop feeding them. And the less power they have, the more clearly you can see. And in that clarity, you discover peace. Not because your thoughts disappeared, but because you no longer confuse them with the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the witness, the observer, the awareness, the stillness beneath the storm. And that is your true power. Be still, be free. Let's pause for a moment. You've just taken a deep journey into ancient wisdom. 7 timeless truths, not from textbooks, but from the heart of experience. From the teachings of the Buddha, echoing through 2,500 years, still whispering to us today. These are not just ideas. They are invitations to live differently, to feel more deeply, to awaken gently, quietly, fully. Let's remember them together. Happiness is an inside job. Nothing outside you can complete you. Detachment is freedom. Peace begins where clinging ends. Embrace suffering to transcend it. Pain is not punishment, but a teacher. Compassion over judgment. What you choose to see in others reflects your inner world. Live simply, want less. True wealth is contentment. Silence is wisdom. Stillness is where clarity begins. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky, not the storm. And now, the choice is yours. These truths are seeds, but you must plant them, water them with daily presence, nourish them with compassion, protect them with silence, and let them grow inside you. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to become a monk or give up the world. Just take the next right step, the next conscious breath, the next kind thought, and let that be enough. The Buddha never forced wisdom. He simply pointed and said, "Be a lamp unto yourself." So light that lamp in your heart, in your home, in how you walk through this noisy, distracted world. Be the stillness, be the peace, be the compassion that others forgot was possible. You don't need to strive to become someone. You are already enough. You just need to remember. So as this video ends, let your journey inward begin. And if something in these words stirred something in you, a softness, a stillness, a new beginning, then please share that light. Leave a comment. Let us know which secret spoke to your soul. Click like if this message brought peace to your heart, and subscribe to walk this path together. Each week, we'll return to these teachings to breathe, to remember, to heal, because you are not alone. You are part of something vast and ancient. You are the continuation of a wisdom that began long before you and will flow long after. So today, right now, just be here, be still, and be free. Namaste. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free.